Turbochargers, power from hot air. Imagine this, your car's exhaust gases, normally wasted energy, can actually be recycled into free horsepower. That's the magic of the turbocharger. And it's why even tiny hatchbacks today can keep up with older sports cars. At its core, a turbocharger is just two fans connected by a shaft. Exhaust gas spins the turbine on one side, which in turn drives the compressor on the other side. That compressor crams more air into the engine cylinders. More air, more fuel, more power. Think of it like forcing your lungs to take a giant breath before sprinting. That extra oxygen gives your body more energy. For an engine, it's the same principle. Turbos are genius because they use wasted energy. Normally, exhaust gases just shoot out the tailpipe, carrying heat and pressure with them. A turbo captures that energy, spins up to crazy speeds, sometimes over 200,000 RPM, and turns it into usable boost. The results are shocking. A 1.5-liter turbo engine today can make as much power as a 3-liter naturally aspirated V6 from the past. It's efficiency and performance in one package. This is why nearly every manufacturer today has switched to smaller turbocharged engines. They get the fuel economy numbers regulators want, and the performance drivers crave. But turbos aren't perfect. The biggest complaint? Turbo lag. That's the delay between pressing the gas and feeling the boost. The engine needs enough exhaust pressure to spin the turbine before power kicks in. Older turbo cars were notorious for it. You'd get nothing, and then suddenly a sledgehammer of boost. It's like waiting for a roller coaster to climb the hill. The suspense builds, and then suddenly, bam, you're thrown down at full speed. Heat is another problem. Turbos operate in the hottest part of the engine. Without proper cooling, they cook oil, overheat air, and can cause detonation inside the cylinders. That's why intercoolers, essentially radiators for air, are critical. They drop intake temps so the engine can survive the extra boost. And finally, turbos add complexity. More moving parts, more heat, more plumbing. That means more potential points of failure. A blown turbo can cost thousands to replace. Not all turbos are created equal. Manufacturers have invented variations to improve performance and reduce lag. Single turbo, the classic setup. Simple, effective, but with obvious lag. Twin turbo, two turbos working together. They can be sequential, small turbo for low RPM, big turbo for high RPM, or parallel, one per bank of cylinders. Variable geometry turbo. Uses movable vanes inside the housing to change exhaust flow, giving faster spool at low RPM and big power at high RPM. Common in diesels. Electric turbo, a newer tech where a small electric motor helps spool the turbo instantly, virtually eliminating lag. Some cars defined eras with their turbos. The Nissan GT-R became a legend with twin turbos that turned it into Godzilla. The Toyota Supra Mk4 used sequential turbos to create a cult following. Even economy cars like the VW Golf GTI and Ford EcoBoost Mustang show how turbos bring performance to the masses. And in motorsport, the Porsche 917-30 Can-Am car in the 1970s produced 1,500 horsepower from a turbocharged flat 12. And today, from hot hatches to supercars, turbocharging is everywhere. Sure, some enthusiasts miss the sound and feel of big NA engines, but you can't argue with the numbers. Turbos deliver speed, efficiency, and innovation all in one package. But here's the thing, turbos aren't the only way to boost power. Some manufacturers looked at all that complexity and said, why wait for exhaust gases? Let's bolt a compressor straight to the engine. And that's how the superchargers stole the spotlight. Superchargers, instant mechanical fury. If turbos are clever recyclers, superchargers are blunt force weapons. Instead of waiting for exhaust gases to build pressure, a supercharger bolts directly to the engine and spins a compressor using a belt. That means instant boost. No waiting, no lag, just raw, immediate power. Think of a turbo as a windmill that waits for the wind. A supercharger, that's a giant electric fan blowing full blast the second you hit the switch. Superchargers have been around since the early 1900s and became icons of American muscle cars. Pop the hood on a classic dragster or modern Hellcat, and that towering blower isn't just for show, it's cramming massive amounts of air into the engine for insane horsepower. There's more than one flavor of supercharger, and each has its own personality. Root Style, the iconic blower that sticks through the hood of hot rods, delivers huge low-end torque but isn't the most efficient. Twin Screw, similar design, but compresses air internally, making it more efficient and smoother across the rev range. Centrifugal, looks like a turbo but is belt-driven. Boost builds with RPM, giving a top-end rush while still being simpler than a turbo system. What makes superchargers addictive is throttle response. Press the gas, and the engine responds immediately with boost. That's why cars like the Jaguar F-Type R, Shelby GT500, and Dodge Hellcat feel so brutally quick off the line. But there's no such thing as free power. Because superchargers are driven by the engine, they steal power in order to make power. This is called parasitic loss. Imagine running a race while carrying an oxygen backpack. You're still faster overall because of the extra oxygen boost, but part of your energy is always being spent just to carry the load. Superchargers also add weight and complexity. Roots and twin screw types generate lots of heat, requiring big intercoolers. And while turbos help with fuel economy, superchargers almost always hurt it. They're all about brute force, not efficiency. Still, for many enthusiasts, the trade-off is worth it. The scream of a supercharger at full tilt is pure mechanical music, a soundtrack that makes drivers forget all about MPG. But here's the craziest idea of all. What if you didn't have to choose? What if you strapped on a supercharger and a turbo, combining instant torque with high RPM madness? That's where twincharging enters the picture. Twincharging, the mad scientist's dream. Twincharging is exactly what it sounds like, running a supercharger and a turbo on the same engine. It's the ultimate why not both engineering solution. The idea is simple. The supercharger covers low RPM, giving instant torque and zero lag. As the revs climb, the turbo takes over, delivering huge top-end power. In theory, you get the best of both worlds. It's like having two athletes in a relay race. The supercharger sprints the first leg instantly, then hands the baton to the turbo, which blasts down the straightaway at full speed. The most famous twin-charged car ever, the Lancia Delta S4 from Group B Rally Racing. With both systems strapped to a tiny 1.8-liter engine, it made over 500 horsepower in the mid-1980s, an insane figure for such a small displacement. The result was a rally monster that became legend. In the 2000s, Volkswagen experimented with twin-charging in the Golf GT 1.4 TSI. Despite having just a small four-cylinder, the combo gave it both strong low-end torque and impressive top-end punch. So why don't we see more twin-charged cars today? Complexity. Managing two boost systems, switching between them smoothly, and keeping temperatures under control is incredibly difficult. It's expensive, heavy, and often not worth the hassle when modern turbos have improved so much. It's like juggling two chainsaws at once. Impressive when it works, but one mistake and the whole system comes crashing down. That's why almost all manufacturers abandon twin-charging in favor of advanced turbo setups like twin scroll and variable geometry. They deliver most of the benefits without the insane complexity. So here's the full breakdown. Turbos, efficient, powerful, dominate the modern market but with lag and heat issues. Superchargers, instant response, brutal torque, addictive sound but less efficient and more power hungry. Twincharging, the dream combo of both but too complex to survive mainstream production. So turbos, superchargers, or twincharging, which would you pick for your dream build? Do you want the high-tech whoosh of a turbo, the screaming whine of a supercharger, or the mad scientist chaos of both strapped together? Drop your choice in the comments. I'm betting the Hellcat fans and superfans are about to go to war.